Yo, 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 what's going on? It's for the podcast, episode 26. I'm your host, Fair Ira, aka Zell, aka Podcast Poppy, man. You know, like today we got a phenomenal guest, phenomenal artist, all around specialist. I'm saying, you know, for those who do, for those who don't, you want to introduce yourself?
Capella was good. MC, producer, you feel me? I just do whatever God need me to do. You mean? Appreciate y'all for having me.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. I'm saying, so, you know, all around producer, all around artist, you know, you want to get into your story about how you got into music?
Yeah. I mean, like most black people, started off in church.
Yeah.
I mean, but I grew up in a Hispanic church because I'm black and Hispanic. So I really was in love with the musicians and just the whole worship team in general, especially in terms of the percussion. Like they played with like congas, bongos, drums, an instrument, like just all types of sounds. And that was the thing that I was enamored by. And I was just so passionate about being seen because I'm a middle child now, but I was like the youngest sibling. So I was always the one that was trying to follow my brother and cousin outside. Like whatever they was trying to do, I was trying to do. So they was part of the choir, and I wanted to join the choir, but there was like an age requirement. But I was so persistent that they let me on that jump because I actually had like a talent for singing at the time. Then fast forward, started playing like the flute in middle school, played the drums in church, played the bongos, and once they shut the music program down in the school system, all of that just kind of culminated into me rapping. And that's ironically that's not something that I saw myself doing. I'm like, it's a million people out here rapping, you feel me? It was just something that was fun. But it's that kind of thing where like leaders don't choose to be leaders, like they're called to be leaders. So it was just that type John. Like I just couldn't run from it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the story.
Yeah, no, for real, like, I definitely dig that. So now from you starting, you know, as a young kid from church to, you know, be around your family to the music program, like what kept you motivated to where you are now?
Honestly, man, I've always just been a fan of specific cultures. You feel me? And the biggest culture that I was a fan of is obviously hip hop. I mean, that I see myself being somebody that had the potential to be a generational talent. No, I honestly would have been cool with being a fly on the wall. I mean, but it's that kind of thing to where like the people who are okay with being the side characters are usually the ones that's called to be the main characters type time. You mean? So I was just like, yo, I'm just here to be in love with it. And through that love, I grew to realize like, oh, I'm one of them people that's supposed to push this culture forward, you know? So that's the thing that really keeps me motivated. Just honestly, just being a fan, like at heart, you know, because if you continue to be a fan, you continue to be inspired. You want to collaborate, you want to grow, and you want to leave a legacy behind that's not just for you, but that's for something that's bigger than you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, so now speaking about being like a fly on the wall and you know, sometimes it turns into being the main character.
For sure.
So now like has there ever been like any roadblocks and stoppage to where it was like, damn, well, like, all right, cool. Well, let me take a break. Well, damn. Well, they might not like my sound. Let me take a break, or like, let me start. Like, has there ever been like any like hiatuses to make it grow, become like stronger?
Yeah, man. I say after the pandemic is when the hiatus really started. Like most people don't know. Like if you're not from Philly, or if you are in Philly, Philly is a great city to cultivate your talent because of the tension that we just naturally grow up in down here, like from like a deep rooted seed of trauma. But I had to look up and realize like, yo, like, yeah, I'm getting these paid shows here and there, but are these people really fans of me, or am I just entertainment for the main thing that they got going on? Philly is a sports city. Philly is a restaurant city. They're not really a music city like that. Like there's art scenes, but we gonna book you to sing so these people could eat. We gonna book you to rap so these people can be encouraged to vote, or so on and so forth. And I had to look up like, I'm paying bills, but am I really growing? Like, do I really have a fan base? Do I really have a vision of where I'm at, or am I caught up in this delusion that because these people are giving me quote unquote opportunities that I'm growing, you know? So I really had to sit back and ask myself that, including the most important question: who am I if you take the music away? And I did
Right.
not know who that answer to that question at all, and that bothered me because if I don't know who I am, then I'm subject to whatever people try to define me as. You know what I mean? So I had to make the hard decision to take like a whole year off, like, and not off in a sense of creativity because I can't stop creating, but off in a sense of being in the public eye, you know. And that was really difficult for me because it's like you have those worries, like is the game moving on without me? Am I closing that window of opportunity? And once I found myself, I realized no, that window of opportunity can never close as long as I'm willing to build it, you know, as long as I'm willing to take the uphill battle. But yeah, no, it was very hard, but it made me who I am now, you know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure though. So now, speaking of like who you are, like have you ever like really like solidify like who are you as an artist and like you target audience and
Yeah.
you know like what can you bring out to the table?
Yo, it was one of the most difficult things for me to figure out because like you start to understand why labels back then had artist development, why they had a marketing team, why they had PR and things like that, because most artists could not answer that question, you know. And now that we're like we use the word independent loosely, but independent really means you're able to do the things that the labels could do for you for yourself, and that's not something that everybody can do because it's already a lot to open yourself up to the music and be able to make like fire. You feel me? But then on top of that, you got to figure out who your audience is. So yeah, to answer your question, because I got to know who I was, I got to realize who my audience was. And my audience, I actually learned recently that women really bang on my music heavy. And I learned that because last year I decided that I knew I wanted to venture into New York, but I wanted to be able to experiment with different levels of consistency. And one of those realms that I ventured into was curating live performances that was free but consistent. So I did something called the Capella John, where I did a show for about, it started in I want to say March, and I kept it going until like November, where I did a show at a venue where people could get in for free, and I would do like a whole marketing campaign where I would physically state like get the flyers hand drawn by like tattoo artists and graffiti artists with all of my interests, whether it's anime, whether it's all things hip hop like graffiti, so on and so forth. Because people tap into the person before they tap into the music. They
Yeah.
want to know if they can relate to you as a person. So I knew that I like Naruto. I like shopping for records. I like to deal with things in real life more than on my phone. So I wanted to tap into that. And the people that was coming through was a lot of chicks. And I ain't talking like just cause I don't necessarily make music for the chicks. Like I ain't on no LL Cool J type time, but they like naturally gravitated to songs that I thought that like most of the niggas was gonna bang with, and they are just enamored by the subject matter and things like that. I found out that people who just really have a love for like lore. So like anybody that like to go to record stores, anybody that like thrifting, anybody that drives a Honda and different things like that, but they need somebody to kind of show them that what they doing is already fly. Like I realized that that's who my fan base was. Like your everyday fly person that just don't realize how fly they are, you know?
Yeah, for real.
So yeah.
So now, kind of, you know, like stepping on to, you know, your music journey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did my research, seeing that you was on the radar.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And, you know, congrats on that
Thank
too.
you. Thank
You know
you
what I'm saying?
for real.
Congrats on that for real though. You know, like of course, like on the radar is definitely, you know, like a popular platform for upcoming artists and for artists that are solidified.
Yeah.
So now, what was your experience on the radar?
Man, it was it was mind blowing, bro. Like big shout out to Gay P, the host and curator of On the Radar. Something that I learned from him that I just could not for the life of me necessarily learn in Philly was that you don't have to always play the game or kiss the ring to get to specific places. I think when it comes to the come up, people have such a one dimensional landscape of how that works. You know, it's like especially when they come to Philly, like shout out to all the genuine platforms, but there's a lot of people that gatekeep. There's a lot of people that pick and choose who they want on their platforms, and those people who want that type time, they usually pick the person that they can manipulate the most. You know what I mean? And I encountered a lot of people who wanted me to be on their platform because I was amazing, but once they found out that they couldn't control me, it's like, nah, like let's not only fall back from him, but let's try to get other people to be discouraged when it comes to inviting him into their space. So it was a long uphill battle. And I'm gonna be honest, bro, like this is how I know that God is real. You can do amazing work and still take a L and just not know if something is gonna happen. And I really believe that God that like God just be like, bro, I just want to know you willing to put in the effort. Next thing you know, I walk into the building to honestly support a friend of mine who was doing this thing on there, and I made this reel letting people know that I freestyle for Gabe P when he had a college radio show. You know what I mean? And I was following on the radar for a year before I even remember who that was. So shout out to Chuck Ashton. Chuck was like, yo, you gotta let that story be known. And sometimes, bro, like as different as I am out of the norm when it come to Philly boys, that like the Philly mentality could still be in me. Like, nah, bro, that might be kind of Joe. And he said, bro, if you act too cool, you'll freeze. I'm like, real. You know what? You're absolutely right. So I made the real anything I put on my social media has to be artistic, like real true to me. So I made the reel look super dope. And I pulled up to the John and I saw, like, I ain't really the type boy to get starstruck like that. Bro, I walked into that John, I saw the green lights, I saw the on the radar, I saw Gabe P like, yo, I'm gonna step out, this artist gonna step out. I'm like, oh, this boy here? My heart started dropping, like, oh damn, like he really in this joint. So I'm talking to Chuck, like yo, like once again the Philly mentality, bro. You think I'm Joe if I go talk to boy? Chuck was like, hell no, bro. Like, go holla at him. And I went to humbly introduce myself, and before I could, he's like, yo, that's the boy who I was talking about. He telling his team that, and he like, yo, add Eli into a slot. And I'm like, really, bro? And he's like, yeah, like, and he's like, bro, it's only right. And to hear that as a person in Philly who always feel like I gotta prove to people, especially people who don't make music at all, that I'm worthy to be on a platform or worthy to have this kind of shine, to see this bull say it's only right. Not because of the numbers, not because of the optics, but because of the actual work that I'm putting in, bro. That meant everything to me. That meant everything, not just to me, but for artists that's like me, that are hip hop, but that are in an alternative side of it that people in the city that like don't even know about. Like they needed to see somebody that was up there, not looking like what you typically see up there. Like I'm up there with thrifted clothes and I got stainless steel chains on, and I'm just up there just doing my thing. That was amazing for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for real. Like that's definitely a good drawing though. You know, like it's kind of like the energy that you put out into the world, the energy gonna get back at the end of the day.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So like for him to like really like see, but like, yo, like that's him for real, put a spot in for it.
Yeah.
Then you mean that means say, you know, like you definitely putting out good energy out in the world.
Yeah, bro. I really believe that my response to one question was the determining factor for that. When I spoke to him and he got hyped, he said, "What have you been up to?" And I could have gave him the, oh, bro, I'm grinding or I'm hustling, like your typical answer when it come to things that you're doing, just generalizing it. But I came in there with a plan, like, bro, this plan is like, this is a moving train. Whether you was gonna put me on this joint or not, like, yo, I'm doing an Eli Capella joint. After that, I'm going to New York so I can venture there to do the same thing. And I really believe that in conjunction to him remembering who I was from that video, like inspired that, yo, no, this bull putting in work. Let's throw him on the platform. You know what I mean? So yeah, shout out Gabe P, bro. That was all that.
No, for real. So now, speaking about from that and speaking from content and the Eli Capella drawing, like how do you come up with your own content?
That is a great question. I don't think I've ever been asked that before. My content, whether it's music, whether it's videos, it always comes from just real life inspiration. So whether it's the visualizer for Honda that just came out, like I remember the day that I bought my first car, which was that Honda when my son was born. And I was in that joint, like I didn't care that it was an '05 Honda. Like I looked at it, I'm like, this joint got a sunroof. This
Yeah.
joint got heated seats. This joint, like for this to be a '05, this is a pretty fly car. And I'm like, yo, why do we always gotta wait until we look until we get a certain level of wealth to be confident in the things that we have? Why can't we already acknowledge that we fly? Because let's keep it a buck. I've been getting shorty since I was driving Nikes and Yeezys and New Balances and just dingy behind sneakers. So driving in a Honda is going to be the same thing. And I just wanted to be able to create what luxury meant to me. Like I believe that luxury is in the eye of the beholder. So real life events too, being cultured when it comes to different mediums. The reason why I'm so good at editing is because I respect the work of what an editor does. I respect what a videographer does. I don't just book them, all right, bro, shoot the video. It's like, no, bro, like how do you do what you do? Cause you're tapping into a muse too, just through a different medium. And I study that, I study how people create their art, and I'm able to implement that into what I'm doing, even though I'm not primarily a videographer or an editor or even an engineer. I'm able to study those things and I'm able to create the content. So having a community of people that I'm always humbling myself for, so that I can be inspired by them, and whoever I don't have on my team, I can be that for the time being until I come across the team. You know what I mean? So that's really what it is.
So that's real thorough for real. I'm saying, so now the team is definitely way more important. And also, from like the Honda story, that's definitely a great story.
Yeah, thank you, bro, for real.
Yes, sir. So now, speaking about the Honda and speaking about your music career and being an artist, so now, as from an artist standpoint, like, what's the journey from dropping "This Is the Real" and "Problem Child"
Whoa.
to dropping Honda?
Yo, you all right, yo. So wow, This Is the Real. So for context, y'all, that's like the first song I ever dropped, like when I was 16. And yo, it's been the same story, bro. I'm a big fan of what's going on here, and I'm gonna work with whatever I got to be able to do what I can, so God can bless me to do what I can. For example, This Is the Real. Shout out to my cousin Spitter 46 Hondo, who was on that joint, because he been rapping since way before me. He that song was made in West Park Projects on 46 and Market, and I believe the 300 building. Shout out to Reese. This boy literally had a Guitar Hero mic with a pop filter in front of it.
It be like that. It be like that. Yo,
and bro, I was looking at that joint like, oh, we really in the studio. Like, yo, like that's how much of a fan and ignorant I was to just things like that, but in a great way, because it showed I'm willing to appreciate any moment. It don't like there's no such thing as perfect for me. Like, it's all progress. So if you take that kid and bring him to a Honda, it's still that same thing, but that appreciation gave birth to so many other tools that have been at my disposal, because people see that I'm grateful. People see that I'm a person. People see that I'm not going to take them for granted, and I'm always going to take accountability for better or worse. So, shout out to Kyle, the conductor from the Ego Center. He gave me my first interface. Like, he gave me my first studio right on time, because this was like right before, like a year before the pandemic hit, and I didn't touch that interface until the pandemic hit, because I was so intimidated by it. You feel me? Shout out to C Rush, shout out Chuck Acid, Skate, Smooth Waffle. So many people who indirectly taught me how to be the producer that I am. Like, they didn't have to sit me down to show me. I was in love with processes, and that's another key thing. Yo, like, processes are everything to me. I don't just get excited about the fact that Kobe dropped 81. I'm just as excited about the fact that Kobe would be the first one in the practice and the last one to leave. Like, I'm very in love with that. So those qualities were the things that always kept me going. Everything else that got added was on that core foundation that got built into what it is now. You know what I mean?
Yo, for sure though.
Yeah.
For sure. And like,
dang, yo. Wow, I'm impressed, man. Bro. Wow, like, thank you.
Listen, for sure though. Like, like when, like, pretty much, for those who don't, like, for him right here, like I found him about C Rush. You know what I'm saying? So, once he told me that you was coming on, I'm like, okay, cool. I had to do my research. I had to tap and do the old music from the start to the finish.
Sure.
I seen those 2 tracks. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I heard those 2 tracks. And then I heard what you got out now.
Yeah.
And the tracks that's in the middle, I'm like, yeah, you definitely did progress.
For sure.
They still are progressing for real, too. For what I heard earlier on today,
Yeah, I appreciate
still
that.
progressing though, for real. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely, on the right track where you're supposed to go.
Thank you, bro. That's all God's grace. I mean, for real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So now, as an artist, I know you competitive. I know you want to do a good job on everything that you do.
For sure.
So now, what's like the best feature that you ever did? And what's the best feature that you did but never came out?
I think the best feature that I did by far was on Chuck Acid's Something Strange.
Okay.
That was the best feature I did contextually, and that was the best feature I did as an artist. Contextually, the way that joint came about, it's kind of funny. Like the 2 people who were very pivotal in my career. Well, there's 3 people. Big shout out to Warren Peace. That's the homie. But I would say MC Knowledge and Chuck Acid, and both of their interactions was kind of the same. So I didn't always have this mentality that fully detached from the typical Philly artist mentality. There was a time where I was caught up in the matrix because I didn't know no better. You feel me? And you can't help what you don't know. So Chuck hit me up like, yo, I really bang with everything that you doing. I would love to get you on this song. I said, cool. Pay me $150, I got you. Like nothing. I ain't check the music out. I ain't really do nothing cause I thought that was what you was supposed to do. You know what I mean? And he hit me back like just humbly, like, bro, I'm a big fan of you, but I don't got that. Like I wish I had it. And intuition is crazy because something just told me like, yo, check bull stuff out. I mean, and I think he had a song in the video out called Pace, and I was just tuning into him and just seeing everything he had going on. I'm like, yo, this is fire. You feel me? So I still had that Philly mentality in me, but I've always before that I had compassion. So I said, bro, I got you for 75. I didn't know at the time he didn't have 75 either, but he was so willing to work with me that him and his manager at the time found a way to pay that joint. And it's funny because I actually met him at a Freddie Foulet show, and he came to my listening party for my Illa Dwellers mixtape, but I had no idea he was Chuck Acid. So I knock on the door, he opened the door, I'm like, oh, it's you, bro? Like, oh damn, like, and I'm doing that verse, bro, and it like I could post that verse 30 times a day and it's still gonna get the same reaction. Like people just gonna be mind blown by that joint. Yeah. And it just really encapsulates like why I do what I do. So yeah, definitely that. A verse that I had a feature verse I got that hasn't come out yet. I honestly I do have songs that I've written that haven't come out yet, right? So I say that there may or may not be songs that I've written that's gonna feature on some fire shows. Let's just put it like that. So that big shout out to Mare. She's an amazing singer. She tours with Lauryn Hill, so on and so forth. Like she was she was one of the first people. Once again, contextually, an amazing favorite unreleased like feature / collaboration. Philly has the kind of personality where they kind of take everything at face value, and I hope I'm using that right. Yeah. So for example, like I can do something and instead of digging deeper, they define me as that thing, period. So for example, I'm really good at freestyling off the top. You feel me? Big shout out to MC Knowledge. Like he's one of the main people that was pivotal in me being so nice at rapping off top. People would see me rapping off top and be like, "Oh, that's the freestyle ball."
Yeah.
And just period, and that's it. And they would intentionally marginalize me to that, or that's just the rapper bull. Mare, like being a singer and songwriter she is, heard me freestyle and say, "Yo, his pen must be insane." So she was one of the first people that like artistically, she saw who I was immediately from the tip of the iceberg. I mean, so yeah, I really can't wait till y'all hear the stuff that we've been working on for sure.
No, for real. No, for real. You know, like just by hearing your music, you know, like I can really tell that it's gonna be hot for real. So I'm
Yeah,
saying?
bro. Thank you for real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you know, like speaking from, you know, the Philly mentality, thinking that, you know, certain things might be Joe, but you still got compassion for the music. In your opinion, what's like your top 5 artists in the city?
My top 5 artists in the city. No. All right. Eli Capella, that's one.
Right.
Everybody else in no particular order. Like I just really love all of these artists. Like I'm a huge fan, and I think it would be very selfish of me to put them in an order because one, they from Philly, and Philly's the home team. Like we are. Like everybody I'm about to name is in some way, shape, or form a part of the ethos that's gonna solidify the Philly sound. And I think it's important for all of us to never be put in a position where we got to choose like who's better, because we all make each other better. You mean? Shout out to C Rush, shout out to Chuck Acid, shout out to K&S. You feel me? Like another person who I studied when I got a chance to see them in the studio and hear his sound. Shout out to and if I had to name a fourth one, let me name a woman. Noel Scales. You feel me? Noel Scales is from a older class of artists, right? But she's once again like one of the first people who when she saw me, she immediately called me the GOAT. Like she was like, "Yo, no lie, when I saw you, I saw like a aura, like I saw like a glow, and when I would see you in rooms, I could look you in your eyes and I can tell that you were like either masterminding something or you had like a level of emotional intelligence that most people don't got. And it's very, like, once again, it's very rare that people from Philly can see me in that way. So Noel Scales is an amazing singer and an amazing rapper, but also an amazing collaborator. Like she's on my tape that's about to come out. No, I'm lying. She's not on that tape. Let me shut up. Rewind. She may be on something that's coming out later in the year.
Yeah. All right, yeah, that's third out. That's a good top 5 too.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So now, other than your top 5, like what are some people that you want to work with?
People that I want to work with in the city, or just period?
Period.
Are we talking like underground artists, mainstream?
I say both.
Both? Okay, cool. From an underground perspective, big shout out to Veda. Veda is an artist from Atlanta. She be doing her thing in New York a lot. Like when I heard her sound, and I hope I don't come across offensive when I say this, she reminded me of like a extremely polished Ice Spice.
Okay.
If she produced her own work. Like if Ice Spice knew how to produce her own stuff, like Veda is like she got that Atlanta swag, like that confidence, but her sound is just like it breaks down that Atlanta like margin that you would place her in, like, oh, like it's gonna be trap, oh, it's gonna be this. Nah, bro, like I can tell that her ear for music is insane. Like she be sampling Kim. Like she got this one drum where she sampled Kim, but it's a song for the baddies. I'm like,
okay.
Wow, that's amazing. So her, there's this other artist that's from Florida who also be doing this thing in New York. His name is Nyante. Like Dante's Inferno, and Demon Muppy are the two projects that have been inspiring me a lot lately. Like boy, of course, because he's from Florida. Like, picture like if Kodak produced his own sound, but he went to the East Coast and he skateboarded, so his palette for the production just is like mad diverse. That's Nyante. Like he's just super duper fire. And then I'll take it back to Philly. Who would I like to work with that's in Philly that I haven't worked with yet? That's a real good question. I'll take like 5 seconds to ponder that. Tierra Whack.
Okay.
I would love to produce something for her. Skrilla. Bruh, Skrilla is like, when it comes to the drill scene, like, and me and my youngins are like, we argue about this all the time. In my opinion, he's the most creative.
Yeah.
Like he's the most the most in tune with his sound, with his image. Like I ain't never seen nobody embrace part of the city that just gets shit on the way he do. Like he made Kensington look cool. I ain't never seen nobody do that, bro. Since like hip hop in the Bronx or something like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, big shout out to Skrilla. I would love to work with him. Like in the city, he's probably like the number one target for me.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So now, just in general, it don't gotta be about music.
For sure.
It could be anything about life. What's your biggest milestone and what's your biggest regret?
Okay. That's easy. So I'll answer it in 2 parts for both. I'll answer musically and I'll answer with life. Biggest milestone in life is having my son. Like that's just it's cliche, but it's really not. Like being a father is one of the most beautiful, most annoying things ever. Like it's a perfect balance. Like to see a person who is somebody that you help to create is like, and to like see him like come out of somebody who you decided to have him with is just the most insane experience ever. And to see his personality flourish, like he only 6 months, but to also see somebody who is what it looks like to be human at its purest form. And I'm talking like inconsiderate, selfish, just don't care. But the difference is between him and the grown up is he don't know no better. And I still gotta love you through that. Bruh, it changed and it's changing me for the better, bro. Like, and I say musically, the biggest milestone was obviously like, bro, that on the radar did so much for me. And I ain't just talking clout, I ain't just talking numbers, but I'm a firm believer that numbers are only as good as you know how to leverage them. Because I did it on the radar, when I go to New York, I bypass a lot of things that I would have had to do if I didn't have that job. Okay. And I'm talking like in an authentic way, like when I talk to specific people, and I'm coming in a genuine sense, period. But when I tell them, yo, I have it on the radar, they can let their guard down because it's another boy that rap trying to tell me how he rap. Like now people just know, like when you get on certain platforms, it's a testament to how serious you are about what you do. And that on the radar, just like I always told myself while I was in my hiatus, like, yo, I ain't gonna talk my talk yet, but when I get to a certain place, I'm gonna talk my talk. When I got that on the radar, I still can't talk my talk the way I want to because I still haven't gotten to certain places, but I can say a little something. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely those things. And I say, you asked what my biggest regrets were.
Yeah.
I don't really have regrets, but I'll say the biggest growing pains in life, I'll say was shoot, if I'm being transparent, me and the mother of my child separating. And I'm not gonna get into the details of how that happened, but like I'll say stuff like that for the music, but I really got to understand how important it is to not put so much pressure on yourself as a black person and as a black man. Like that's one of the biggest things that I believe we suffer from because we lack so much. It's like, oh, I gotta be the perfect this, I gotta be the perfect boyfriend, I gotta be the perfect father. And when that happens, you're like you're putting this unattainable thing over yourself, and it get heavy. You know what I mean? And excuse me, if I knew and I had to go through that pain of the separation to learn, like, bro, you deserve all the grace in the world with everything that you do because you're a creation that God decided to make. So with that being said, you can't be so hard on yourself. You know what I mean? And I'll say musically, the biggest thing that I learned, if I'm being real, is to I think musically understand, like, I had to go through a lot of betrayal to really understand how important it is to have genuine people surrounding you as an artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's people that I made slaps with, classics with. There's people who I've done amazing shows with that taught me a major lesson. And I think an even bigger lesson that I just thought about is everybody can't go. Like, you can have so much love for a person and their potential and what they got, but you cannot teach nobody how to have ambition. And I really had to understand that, and I really had to go through a lot of pain of seeing, like, dang, bro, like, this is where we stop. Like, this is where our chapter ends, because you just don't want it the same way that I do. And that don't make you a bad person, but dang, it would have been dope if we could have both went there together, you know? So yeah, those are the things.
Nah, for real. You know, it's I got like two more questions before we wrap up.
Yeah,
too.
you good.
What's like one quote that you live by?
Wow, was one quote. So all right, there's a quote as of lately that I've been thinking about. Shout out to her. Her Instagram is the Samarauder. And she one of my biggest crushes, like the Joan that know martial arts and be swinging a sword, bro. She's super fine, and I just love the fact that she know how to fight, and she could probably kill me. Like, that's fire. But she posted this picture, and the caption said, "You don't work hard for the things you hope to get. You work hard to be who you hope to become." And I really needed to hear that, because, you know, we from Philly, and Philly is just real. It's just really big on optics. Like, we really big on if somebody look like they got something, if somebody looks rich, if somebody looks this, if somebody looks that. And it makes you want to work so you can get things. Like, I would be lying if I said that sometimes my ambition didn't come from wanting material things, but or just certain opportunities, so I can actually look like I'm doing my thing, even though I'm doing my thing, period. And once I realized that, bro, like, it made, like, we was talking about putting too much pressure on ourselves. It made me realize, like, yo, I'm not specifically in this for the Grammys, or I'm not in this for the sales. I want to feed my children, I want to pay my bills, but even the money isn't something that should supersede the desire to be just a better artist. Like, in the sense to where, yo, this is the gift that God gave me. Like, bro, I'm gonna be honest, like, I write the songs, I make the beats, but it's in a way to where they're kind of already made. Like, they were already made before I got here. Like, they kind of just are just given to me. Like, here's the full song. Like, I can't explain how I can conceptualize a song, how I can take my life, put it through a filter, and put it into a song that's a slap. You feel me? So it's not mine. It's an investment that I'm called to flip. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's all. So yeah, that's what I live by.
You know, that's definitely a good, John. So now, my last question that, you know, I'm gonna start doing for artists that come on the pod.
Yeah, talk to me.
You know, for those who want to get a glimpse of your music, you know, for those who want to see where it caters, it's like, you might spend a quick 16.
Yeah, sure. Let me see what I got. Give me. All right, dude. You want a written or you want freestyle?
It's up to you.
All right, let me see. What's a good joint I could think about? All right. I might forget this, so if I do, I'm gonna just freestyle it.
Very good.
Lyrically vicious, a young and never see now, in my own lane, so you gon' see how meanwhile I continue rhyming with remarkable timing. Eat like Capella underground, but I shine like a diamond in the rough. Rapping off top of the dome is a must, because this is unwritten, but in God's pen I trust. Way too ill, they can't stop me, cause I'm known to thrill just like Michael Jackson. Still moving with action, even though I'm talking and rapping. As I continue spitting, it's all a verbal transaction, cause I'ma get the bread. It's coming off the head, my mind a weapon, and I got the switchy busting off the list. Said I'm never gonna stop because I'm built to last. All these rappers is going nowhere fast, and when it come to me, you understand, I do it to the max and for the mass, and that's why you should fear the podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, appreciate you on that too, man.
No doubt.
Appreciate that for sure, though. hey, man. So before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to plug in? What you got coming up?
First of all, man, shout out to Fear the Podcast. This might have been one of the most fun interviews I've ever done, like when it comes to your line of questioning. So I'm very grateful. Not Our Heroes Wear Bapes is the name of the tape that is going to be dropping. Honda's out. Stay Switching is out. I dropped a freestyle called A Cold Sunday in Brooklyn. And shout out to everybody that's just a part of it. Shout out to the people who are giving me the opportunity to come on their platform to talk about what I do, but to show you who I am as a person. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And with that being said, man, it's for the podcast, episode 26. I'm your host for Ira, aka Zell, aka Podcast Poppy. I'm here with Eli Capella. Appreciate you for coming on.
Yeah,
You're always welcome.
Thank you, bro.
I'm saying, so with that being said, we here on Mondays. Love y'all. Be safe.
That was heat.